Or will it be the Gamecocks trying to keep their win streak going? They've won 10 straight. Their lone loss on the season to Missouri. Otherwise, how about 5 top 10 wins? And they are 9-0 on the season against ranked opponents. They face another one here this afternoon. Great way to tip off your Super Bowl Sunday. We got a women's hoops doubleheader. And Boston will control the tap, hand it right off to Destiny Henderson. Missed on the attempt, and that one into the expensive seats courtside here at Stegman.
I love that Dawn Staley scripts the jump ball and looks to be aggressive in attack on the first possession, right? Destiny Henderson going downhill is a nightmare for everyone. She's the point guard, number 3 in black, and then there's Zia Cook, number 1, who is an incredible scorer for South Carolina.
Gamecocks still without 2 of their bigs off the bench. Camila Cardoso and Leticia Amihir are away with their national team duties for Brazil and Canada, respectively. They should be back next week, or later this week. Over the top, and some paint points for Georgia. That's going to be huge today, Debbie.
South Carolina scored 46 of their 59 points in the paint against Kentucky in the last game. And watch Georgia, the way they'll defend. They'll try to deny Destiny Henderson, but they'll sag in the paint and try to force Aaliyah Boston to become a passer at this position on the floor.
Boston, and fouled on the shot by Jenna Stady. They actually go a little bigger, too, in the starting lineup today with Javin Nicholson out there.
You know, Beth, I got to tell you, before the game we were talking about, I hope the officials wouldn't call any fouls on Aaliyah Boston or Jenna Stady, just because we want to see the showcase of these 2 ladies' skill set. And right away, through the double team, Stady picks up her first foul.
Boston, 76% from the free throw line. Averaging a double-double, one of just a handful of players in Power 5 to do that. You throw in the shot blocking capabilities as well.
There's no question she's a late game finisher. You want the ball in her hand. She's the best free throw shooter. I think she makes the best decisions with the ball in her hand. And this South Carolina team, as much as they are a tremendous rebounding team, first in the nation in margin, plus 17, they're -2 in turnover margin. That's a number they have to correct.
Going to be tough to win it all with the negative turnovers, and the mid-range is good on the pull-up for Morrison.
Well, as a matter of fact, in the last 10 years of national champions, nobody has won the national championship with a minus turnover margin.
Zia Cook. Boy, it'd be huge for South Carolina for her to bring her shooting percentages back up. They've dipped a little bit this year. The junior out of Toledo, Ohio, member of the All-SEC team last year. Offensive rebound for Stady.
What a great start for Georgia to be able to knock down their first couple of shots, get an offensive rebound, get back into their sets.
Sarah Ashley Barker looking to go to work. And another offensive rebound. Finally, Boston says enough of that, and they will push the other way. Don't have numbers. Cook will wait for the cavalry.
It's a softer cover man. It's an all-out deny on Henderson once she gives it up. And you've got to stay with South Carolina on the glass if you're going to have a chance in this one.
Stady was able to hold her ground that time against Aaliyah.
But it's smart to attack Stady because she does have one foul. It changes the game plan for Joni Taylor if you can get Stady in foul trouble.
Dawn Staley now in her 14th season, winners of the 2017 National Championship. She will also take over the U.S. Olympic team. And they have just been the dominant force, winners of 5 of the last 8 regular season SEC titles and 6 of the last 8 tournament titles, including a win over Georgia in last year's final. Cook and Barker boards.
You got to show layers defensively if you're Georgia. You got to stay underneath South Carolina's defense as Sarah Ashley Barker takes it to the hole.
And one opportunity.
Challenging South Carolina's transition defense. This is a tremendous decision and great take by Sarah Ashley Barker, the 6-foot sophomore for Georgia.
Stady going to grab another offensive rebound. This will be a huge story if Georgia can out-rebound the Gamecocks.
They've only been out-rebounded once, and that was by Stanford.
Right now it's a 6-1 advantage for the Bulldogs. South Carolina will have it here. Joni Taylor, last year's SEC Coach of the Year, made it to the SEC tournament final and to the second round of the NCAA tournament. Former assistant for the legendary Andy Landers, who's in the studio for us today.
Wearing her Delta colors. It's a special promotion going on here at Georgia tonight, or today. It's called the Divine Nine Game, where they're inviting members and alumni of 9 historically black fraternities and sororities to attend the game, and they'll be honored at each quarter.
Oh boy, is that number 2 on Stady on the screen? Oh wow. I mean, so 2 whistles on her in the first 4 minutes here.
And she's walking to the bench like dejected and knowing that with 6 minutes to play in the first quarter, this changes the game for Joni Taylor and for the Georgia Bulldogs. Dejected, 6'5", Jenna Stady. Write that down, Beth. 6 minutes in the first quarter, second foul.
6:04. A foul on her offensively and defensively.
And like cheap fouls, right? I mean, you got to get your money's worth if you're going to foul in the South Carolina game.
That could be big for the Gamecocks here. Boston will step away. And Atiya Cook off the bounce. This is the 3rd foul drawn already by Aaliyah Boston. 2 on Stady, and now another one on a Georgia big.
Well, Georgia's going to have to adjust to the official's whistle.
Well, it just goes to show you, too, what a handful she can be on both ends of the court, Aaliyah Boston. Pretty on the spin. And the lay-in for Brea Beal.
So aggressive off the bounce. Really nice spin move by Brea Beal.
In passing lanes on both sides of the court. Beal with the pick. Henderson spins into a double.
Good D by Morrison.
Boston trying to get a touch for Victaria Saxton inside. Victaria up to the elbow. And will chase down her own miss.
South Carolina offensive rebounds, 48% of their misses. That is an incredibly high number. That's why they get so many points in the paint.
And that's why their rebound margin is the best in all the land, as Saxton is fouled on the shot.
Brea Beal putting it on the deck. Spins back, finishes off the glass. Could be part of the reason why they've lost 2 in a row.
Yeah. And Aaliyah Boston already with 4 points. And a trip to the free throw line. Here's Victaria Saxton toeing the stripe. Victaria, the senior out of Rome, Georgia. 2 times a captain of this squad.
And this is where I think Dawn Staley and her staff do an excellent job of game planning for opponents, right? Their strength is on the interior. Everyone's committed to getting the ball inside. And now off of free throws, a situational defensive possession here for South Carolina, where they're trying to stretch the D a little bit, and they're forced a turnover.
Well, it's playing through Aaliyah Boston. It's going to be fun the next couple of days for women's basketball fans. And so we got Aaliyah Boston today, the pounded in the paint. Everything goes through her. National Player of the Year contender. We got Caitlin Clark tomorrow. The perimeter player always has the ball in her hands, has to score, has to distribute. She's playing tomorrow night against Maryland. And we'll get to see both sides of that. And so much of what Aaliyah does, get her a touch. Well, either she scores, Debbie, or she creates opportunities for others.
I think it's undervalued how she's added layers to her game every year and how she's been able to face up and step away. Her freshman year, she's on the block, pounding away. She's got a retooled body, and she's got a reconfigured skill set facing up. And so that makes her even more dangerous because they can play her in the high-low game. She's a facilitator to reverse the ball, but she also can score from the top of the floor in the middle third.
There are her metrics and the improvement that she's made, including down there at the bottom, dropping 8% body fat, adding more muscle. And she and Saxton today, so they draw 2 fouls on Jenna Stady, who gets replaced by Mallory Bates, and now Mallory Bates has 2 fouls. Off the bounce into the lane, coast to coast, Michaela Coombs.
That's what Georgia has to do if South Carolina is going to open up the floor in their full court pressure. You got to look to attack going downhill. Watch Michaela Coombs switch sides of the floor, gets ahead of the South Carolina defense, gets to the front of the rim, uncontested.
And the turnover for Georgia. That's their 5th already. Just 1 turnover for South Carolina here in this first quarter, and the 11-8 Gamecocks lead.
The more stoppage of play, the better for Georgia, because they need to be organized defensively in their quarter court. They're very good when they're not playing in transition, and they can defend inside out, but you have to know where Destiny Henderson is. She's their best three-point shooter by percentage.
At 40% on the season for the senior from Fort Myers, Florida.
Zia Cook also has made the most, but Destiny has the best percentage.
The South Carolina defense, night in and night out, so difficult to score on. They have forced more turnovers here in the first quarter than allowed baskets, only 4 of them. Looking for back-to-back triples, and they'll get it as Cook follows up Henderson's 3.
Running the floor hard and wide, back-to-back triples in each corner, because they're really spreading out the defense for Georgia, and they're not getting there in time to close out.
Bree Hall thought about trying another one. Lily Grissett looking to Boston, who steps away. And now Leah going to work.
Yeah.
How about a 13-2 run, Debbie, since Stady had to go to the bench?
Look, one-on-one, forget about it. You know, if you can't make her play in a crowd, I mean, she's even gotten better at stepping through double teams as Q Morrison hits a big bucket. But Aaliyah Boston, one-on-one, when she gets over that left shoulder, forget about it. It's 2 points.
Under 2 minutes to go in the quarter. Henderson looking for another one. So a team that doesn't rely on the triple a whole lot will take them if they're open.
They only average 5 a game. They already have 3 in the first quarter.
A foul here defensively on South Carolina. And we'll remind you, a big Monday men's doubleheader for you with Virginia Tech starting at 7. And then it's Oklahoma State, Kansas tomorrow night at 9. The big women's game tomorrow night, Debbie, Iowa and Maryland. That Big Ten finish may be the best in the Power 5 leagues this year, with 5 teams still fighting it out, including those 2.
I love the way the Big Ten Conference has that wild card game at the end so they can manipulate TV schedules to be able to put the best games on. And there are a lot of good games in that league right now. And Maryland has won 6 in a row. Brenda Freese's team is trending in the right direction.
Look out for the Terps, they're healthy again. As for Iowa, they're a couple games out of first place, but they play all the teams that they still need to beat in front of them. They can pull it off. That's Caitlin Clark tomorrow night against Diamond Miller and the Terps. There's a swipe. And that could lead to the lay-in the other way for Hall. Taken away by Cook.
Is this the same South Carolina team that played Kentucky the other night? Because it doesn't look anything like the same team.
18-4 run since Stady left.
They only scored 59 points in that game. That's the least amount of points they've scored all season. They're doing it at both ends of the floor in this first quarter.
And there's Boston with a block.
The defensive ball pressure has been outstanding. Look at Cook. You present the ball in front of her. Combs loses the handle because Cook's hands are active in front, doing a good job of keeping in front of your offensive player you're guarding.
They can get a 2-for-1 right here. They've made their last 5 shots. Boston, oh, quick off the bounce and the blow by for 2.
There is that athleticism in that incredibly retooled body. So quick with that spin move. Look for South Carolina maybe to throw a little trap right here. Oh, really good gap coverage in the middle third, but a poor pass. That's what happens if South Carolina speeds you up, right? You got to make a decision quickly.
5 seconds to get a shot off. Cook will launch from deep and hit. A game that was tied at 6, and then the 23-4 outburst.
4 for 4 outside the three-point line. Logo distance for Zia Cook. And their offensive rebounding, they've got some tip steals, have been disruptive. And they scored 59 in the last game. They're on pace for 120. Oof. And if you're Joni Taylor, you say to your team, we were down 20 at LSU and we came back and made it a game. And when do you put Stady back on the floor?
I was going to say, I mean,
like how much separation do you allow before the game gets to a point where it's too challenging to come back?
It won't matter in the third quarter, right? If they're down even more than they are now. That'll be a decision coming up. Reagan Richardson coming off a career-high 17 points in 17 minutes against LSU.
Maybe Andy Landers can answer this for us in the studio at halftime. I mean, is it too early to go offense, defensive possessions with a player like Stady? Put her on the floor for when you can for offense. Take her off when you can for defense. How much does that affect the rhythm of your team? But you don't have a rhythm right now.
And if you don't have a whole lot of stoppages, it's hard to get her in and out of the game.
Well, there's been a lot of stoppages.
That would be one of the things we'd have to monitor. Tanea Hilton, the freshman who's getting more and more playing time since she joined the squad out of high school in January.
Hollingshed not quite 100% with that knee. You can see that it has caused a problem for her explosiveness, but hey, you're going against the experience of Aaliyah Boston. Yeah. That's challenging for any freshman. Any player, forget about freshmen.
Well, that's one of the things too that this South Carolina team has going for it. They will get an opportunity for a three-point play here. They've got experience at every spot on the floor, Debbie.
And they have 11 high school All-Americans on their roster.
And the talent.
Have Bree Hall with a great take off the bounce with contact. The player that I'm looking forward to seeing for South Carolina is Sanaya Rivers, number 44, the 6'1" freshman. I can't wait to see what she's going to be under Dawn Staley as she continues to grow and mature.
Don't forget, too, this is the first of our doubleheader over on ESPN at 2 Eastern. It's Notre Dame and Louisville. Right now, South Carolina, Louisville, Stanford, and North Carolina State are your 1 seeds. And Stady is back in the game now for Georgia. Snares the rebound. And a held ball will go to the Gamecocks.
Yeah, I like it, Joni Taylor. You got to put her in the game, right? You got to get her back in and see if she can contain Aaliyah Boston somewhat with some help and be a factor on the offensive end scoring because they need her offense.
It's been well balanced for Carolina so far. 14 points in the paint, 12 on the perimeter. So they've added that three-point shooting. They've been getting to the free throw line as well. A little bit of everything. Little pick, little roll, and a bucket.
What a nice pass by Rivers. Good cut to the bucket by Lily Grissett.
Lily playing in her 12th game this year. The grad student out of Durham, North Carolina, and Stady is fouled on the reach. Got our Super Tuesday doubleheader on the men's side, Wake and Duke. Debbie's going to be on the call for that one, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. And then Kentucky, Tennessee in a Sonic blockbuster at 9 Eastern. Both games on ESPN, also on the app.
Coach K only has 3 home games remaining. Wake Forest coming off a loss, but you know what? The 2 candidates for ACC Player of the Year on the men's side, Alondis Williams leads the league in scoring and in assists. That hasn't happened in the league since they started keeping track of assists like in '73. That's never happened. So that's interesting against all the talent of the Blue Devils, which is very similar to all the talent we're seeing here in South Carolina.
And the Dukies send out Coach K with another national championship. Here's Rivers. She'll pull up mid-range and knock it down.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I can't wait to see what Sanaya Rivers becomes in a Gamecock uniform. She's gotten a little bit of time here and there, but Dawn Staley might be able to get a little deeper into that bench.
Freshman out of Wilmington, North Carolina, 3 times the state player of the year. Here she is in the trail position. And spins into a double team. Good help defense right there by Jordan Isaacs.
That's where decision making is going to come to experience and reps and playing at the pace of play that you play when you're in the SEC on the road.
Yeah. Can they come up with something to disrupt the South Carolina attack? 8 players have been on the floor. All 8 have scored. They are shooting 68% from the floor so far today.
I think South Carolina decided they wanted to play.
Stady around and out. Well, they got some big news this week that College Game Day is coming to Columbia, folks. February 20th for that Tennessee game. And an offensive foul going to be called here on Bree Hall. That's her second.
That's her second, South Carolina third. Is Georgia basketball.
You know what? That's going to look nice on film tomorrow. I think Dawn Staley's going to like that one. That's a pretty good take off the bounce. She did create some contact. The official, in his judgment, thought that she initiated the contact. That's why the foul was called. I hate to see points come off the board. Anybody's points come off the board.
The 10th turnover and a blocking foul called and one. Sanaya Fagan, the freshman, who is going to have an opportunity to show her stuff today, Debbie.
Yeah, look at this take right here. You have to referee the defense. Hugh Morrison was outside the restricted area, but she's not in a legal guarding position. It's a good call by the official.
Dawn Staley talking to his pregame said they have encouraged Fagan to be aggressive, get to the rim. With some of the other bigs missing from the roster again today, she'll get a chance. Playing alongside Rivers, another outstanding recruiting class. Back-to-back number 1s at South Carolina. And another steal. Fagan gets it. Henderson drops it.
My goodness.
All Carolina here in the first half.
On fire. Now they're shooting 71%. Their percentage continues to go up.
Rivers tried to thread the needle. Not just on the offensive end, Debbie, but on the defensive end, they have allowed 5 baskets in 14 minutes. That's it.
I was at shoot-around this morning at 7 o'clock. I listened to Joni Taylor break down her game plan with her young team. She told them exactly what they needed to do to be able to compete in this game. And South Carolina is overpowering at every position right now on the floor.
Save to Stady, and there is Jenna's first basket. On just her second shot attempt, limited with the foul trouble here in the first half. That's their first bucket in 4 minutes. Saxton, Victoria, back in the state of Georgia, the Rome, Georgia native. Her high school team's in the house today cheering her on. Defensive rebound, and they will push once again. Rivers calling for it on the wing. Open look. Long rebound to Barker. Stady filling the lane, missed it. Second chance, no. And they'll get a third look. After Zalisha Smith couldn't put it down.
South Carolina switching that middle pick and roll. Mouse in the house inside. Good recognition by Morrison.
And a foul on the shot just as the buzzer was expiring. Back to Athens in a moment. Jenna Stady picked up her second foul, and they just stepped on the gas. Jenna has been reinserted into the game, but as they referenced, I mean, the field goal percentage is off the charts. The defense holding Georgia to 6 baskets here in the first half.
I mean, I love offense, so I'm not having any problem watching the execution of the slice and the dice of Dawn Staley's offensive machine right now. It's incredible. I mean, I'm sure Rebecca is hoping it's going to be like this on game day when they show up down there.
Oh, it's going to be nuts down there.
Oh, my
goodness. The Tennessee game. The game, by the way, is now on ABC.
I just want to take part in a little tailgating pregame.
Is anybody going to, are they going to bring a caboose over to
I don't know.
to the parking lot?
That parking lot is lit, right? The South Carolina fans tailgating out there.
We've had a good time out there.
We've had a burger out there pregame before.
Post-game beverage.
Well, it's better than sitting in traffic, because you definitely got post-game traffic at South Carolina.
That is going to be terrific. And that will be against Tennessee, the team that sits just 1 game behind them right now in the SEC standings.
And I mean, you got to understand, Dawn Staley, we talked to her about the grind of this point in February, right? And so they still are evolving and emerging with their depth. I mean, we know that their first 5 can win, okay? But they're going to need other pieces, and that's why you're seeing Dawn continue to keep the pressure on and continue to keep her players on the floor, because they're still working for a bigger vision in mind.
Nice 3 there from Barker. Well, the SEC, I mean, heady times are coming back with what Dawn has done at the top of the league. You know, Kelly Harper's got it going at Tennessee. Joni's got it going here. Of course, you got the return of Kim Mulkey at LSU. Right now, they are moving up the charts. Got some big coaching jobs to fill as well, with Gary Blair's retirement at Texas A&M. Florida's going to have to make a choice.
Look, Kelly Rae Finley has won 8 of their last 9 games.
Yeah.
Okay. Scott Strickland might not have a tough decision on that.
May be able
He's
to
the athletic director at Florida.
Stay in-house. Question is, how much money in the bank for Texas A&M to offer up for whatever
a lot of money.
Coaches
back up the truck.
Next.
Russ Bjork is going to hire a big-time name for that job.
Yeah. Hey, we heard from Andy Landers in the studio, and congratulations to Andy. He is the newest member of the Circle of Honor here at Georgia.
Andy with us. Most importantly, don't forget Pam. Don't miss out on Pam in that photo.
She's always been in the Circle of Trust.
Andy's wife, of course, that's a wonderful shot of Andy and Joni. Joni served on his staff for many years.
Yeah.
And then Hugh Durham, how about Coach Durham, his name's all over Georgia athletics.
Coach Landers in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame with 5 trips to the Final Four. And of course, that is the ultimate destination that Joni Taylor and company are trying to work towards. Is this the group that can do it?
On that banner, that's Andy Landers, got his stamp all over that. So does Janet Harris and Teresa Edwards and Katrina McLean.
Oh, yeah. Saudia Roundtree.
Don't forget
the Miller
Susie Gardner.
sisters.
Susie Gardner, my favorite Georgia shooter of all time.
All right, the dogs are barking a little bit here, Debbie. An 8-0 run over the last minute.
And if Lisa O'Connor saw me in the street and I didn't mention her name, she might take me out. What great players and what classy people.
Oh, yeah.
The way they've represented our game from Andy's.
Fabulous run.
Underneath Andy's umbrella.
Shout out Lakeisha Frett. Whistle and a foul, and that will be on South Carolina and Victoria Saxton.
South Carolina, number 5, Victoria Saxton.
It's her first.
Well, if you can score here and get a couple of stops and score again, I mean, to get it inside 20, right? That's what you're thinking.
Little victories.
Yes. Look, Joni Taylor's not going to go over there and lay down and quit. I mean, and neither is Dawn Staley's going to keep applying what they need to apply because she wants to play for a national championship. And every rep you get with your team at this point in the season matters.
And we're getting down to it now. After today, most teams in the country only have 4 or 5 games left.
Well, South Carolina will be the overwhelming favorite in the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
They're the overall #1 seed. It looks most likely headed to Greensboro.
Yeah.
Got to wait till Selection Sunday, though, to get confirmation.
10 unanswered points for Georgia, and it is a 20-point game. Boston is back in the game. The spin to the middle and a foul, and who's it going to be on?
Do not call it on #1, 4 in white.
Looks like it was the helper.
Yep.
Number 35, Janet Nicholson.
That's on Nicholson. Oh, well, that's her third. Okay.
Well,
So the Bigs have just had their hands full with Boston and company today, Debbie.
Leah Boston is so much quicker with her post moves inside. And such great footwork on the interior.
Hey, how about a Wednesday night doubleheader from the NBA? And we'll start things off in the Big Apple. It's Nets and Knicks at 7:30 Eastern. And then Utah and the Los Angeles Lakers. ESPN's coverage will start with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern.
By the way, you and Doris Burke and the rest of the crew,
Lisa
including Lisa
and,
Saunders,
yeah, her
I
whole
mean,
gang.
outstanding job last Wednesday night.
That was a lot of fun.
It was really great.
All-female crew.
You know what?
Saw the Jazz beat the Warriors.
I listened. It was just a regular game. It was
you
awesome.
You listened to one of my games?
I was listening to
The
Doris.
first- oh,
I was
dang,
actually
I
listening
knew
to Doris.
I knew it. Well, those two have set the standard for a long time now in the NBA. Great to be a part of that. 35 women in front of and behind the cameras for that
South
game.
Carolina will take possession of the basketball.
Don't forget, too, tomorrow night we're going to find out who goes into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, right, Debbie?
Yes.
I was talking to my friends in the desert after your fabulous KYO halftime on last Monday night. Your odds have increased. There is a chance.
Oh, I tell you what.
Highlighted by Becky Hammond, who I think would be a shoo-in at this point, but we'll find out tomorrow during the Maryland-Iowa game. Back in a moment. On a 100-point game right now. South Carolina up on Georgia. John and Rebecca and Circle of Honoree Andy Landers back in the studio.
boards, and that's where that balance makes them really challenging to defend.
Yep, ton of points off turnovers, ton of points in transition. The bench getting involved. Aaliyah Boston and Destiny Henderson with 10 apiece. 9 points for Jenna Stady, 6 for Q Morrison.
Okay. All right, Dawn Staley, just kind of keep rolling through that playbook right there. I love that clear out in the two-man game with Aaliyah Boston and Destiny Henderson. That is challenging to defend anywhere.
Stady and Boston. Barker gets into the lane, spins and gets the bounce.
So if you're Joni Taylor, you're looking at this like, can we cut this deficit in half by the start of the fourth quarter? And if you're South Carolina, you do not take the foot off the gas, right? You're still grinding towards that, I don't want to say perfect game, but trying to continue to get better.
Beal around and out. It'd be big for Georgia to just win the second half. And you mentioned it in the, earlier today. They almost overcame a 20-point deficit against LSU. And come back to win. Fell a bit short. The Tigers have gotten them twice this year. And the foul is going to be on Saxton. That will be her second.
The high-low game has been somewhat successful for Georgia in the first half. They were able to complete a couple of those plays, and they had a few others open that they didn't complete with the pass. They need somebody to get hot. Like Sarah Ashley Barker is due to get hot.
Beal going to take it coast to coast. It rolls around and down.
When Bree Beal, is playing downhill, that's when she is at her best. She's not a catch and shoot standstill. She is a big, solid frame that can score on most matchups in the paint.
Boston with the rebound, her third. Good hustle by Q Morrison.
See, those are the turnovers that Dawn Staley just can't wrap her head around. That is too long of a pass. Q Morrison anticipates. It's a great hustle play by Q Morrison for Georgia.
And Saxton just picked up her third personal. Stady, a little short. Boston boards again.
Clearing out a side again for Boston.
Gets to the baseline, gets to the block. Stady with a deflection. Coombs. Morrison with the rebound. And they're able to work it down to the low block, and a bucket for Nicholson.
Look, if you know anything about Joni Taylor and the culture that she has continued to evolve here after Andy, it's been about hard work and discipline. And I thought she had an incredible game focus early on this morning. So did her team. But South Carolina just totally, dominated the first half offensively and on the defensive end. And so now you got to find some fight within you to try to make this a workable margin to the fourth quarter. I know they're not going to quit.
Saxton able to get the basket inside. And the foul will be called offensive against Georgia. And that's Nicholson's fourth.
Okay, did she lean into it, or was she not set before the ball handler came off the screen? Or did the contact make it look like she was pulled away from her cylinder, if you will? Feet to the ceiling?
My initial is a no to all of the above, but... Oh, Morrison,
Q, come on, Q.
backhand one!
That's what we're here for.
Top 10 moment for Q Morrison.
When Q Morrison came to Georgia, she was a shy little freshman. She has matured into an incredible young woman, but also a great competitor for Joni Taylor. That is beautiful.
Those are the kind of moves that put her on the Dawn Staley Award watch list for top point guard in the country.
Coach Staley making a mental note over there.
All right, I'll get that to the committee.
South Carolina playing with a little bit of a smaller lineup with Brissett at the 4.
Henderson steps back.
Doesn't
and
matter.
Sets for 2.
I mean, it's really incredible. The #1 team, the #1 overall seed right now, playing like the #1 team.
That one won't get down. Offensive rebound. Tipped. Boston has it. And numbers now for South Carolina with the 3-on-1. Cook will step out beyond the arc as opposed to attacking the rim.
I think when you sprint to the corner versus sliding to the corner, it's a different feel for a shooter. She was backpedaling to the corner. You know, there's only 17 panels from the end line to the three-point line in the corner. I counted them.
17 pieces of wood?
Yeah, 17 panels.
What's the shoe size on that? Is that like a men's 15 or something? There's not a whole lot of room, is there?
No, there's not a lot of room, but I've sized up a size 22 over there in the corner before. On the women's side, I don't know, a size 12 would be a big foot.
Do you see a lot of people stepping out of bounds over there? Is that the? Yeah.
That's why I count it. Yeah, because I'm interested. I'm gonna do something with that next time we're together. I'm gonna do something creative.
I think that's the Iowa-Michigan game in a couple of weeks.
Let's do it. We're gonna talk a lot of threes in that Iowa-Michigan game.
Boston again. 14 points, 5 rebounds.
You know, Michigan won the first meeting, but Caitlin Clark only had 46 in that one.
How about a 26-point fourth quarter? Stady, nice little turn.
Caitlin Clark, you know, we were talking earlier about Wake Forest on the men's side. Alondis Williams leading the ACC in scoring and assists. You know, Caitlin Clark leads the nation in those categories on the women's side.
Hey, we'll see Clark tomorrow night, and today enjoying Aaliyah Boston.
I mean, Boston, so quick with a spin.
Boom.
Big finish inside.
Can Boston do the same?
It's amazing how impressive those numbers are, right? And actually, I think Aaliyah Boston's face-up game has evolved a little bit faster than Asia, so that would be one difference in their junior years to me. But I also think that Aaliyah has a lot more talent around her with 10 other McDonald's All-Americans. So, you know, well, I mean, what are you going to do? Put 2 statues in front of Colonial Life
if
Arena?
She wins the championship?
Yeah.
I
think you got to consider
Dawn
it.
Staley's name on the floor, by the way. Let's get all kinds of trends
let's start
going.
doing that.
Dawn
Staley, 100% behind
court.
that.
Yeah.
100% behind that.
I think the thing with Asia, she was the local product. She was the one that started it all, but I'm sure there's some money around down there to get a second bronze if they get another.
We're going to find it.
Championship. Back in a moment.
They sound mad, but Kentucky isn't heating up. They're on fire. And exacting revenge means taking down a rival.
When these two teams get together, it just means more.
Number 5 Kentucky, number 19 Tennessee. Tuesday at 9 on ESPN.
Top-ranked South Carolina at 22-1. Yeah, taking it to Georgia so far today. Dawn Staley, that national championship, the 11 SEC crowns, Coach of the Year honors. U.S. Olympics, too, coming up.
Don't forget that $22.4 million 7-year contract that is guaranteed $2.9 million this year.
Continuing to elevate the game.
Well, Kim Mulkey only got like $3 million, right? I mean,
yeah.
Coach Mulkey at LSU got a big.
Back on the Bayou.
Yeah, that and what an incredible job she's done.
Yes.
And instantly they are in the top 16. And that environment in the PMAC will be outstanding for the NCAA tournament.
Boston with the take. If they get to host, they would be on our host bubble right now. Charlie Cream's got them as a 4 seed.
I got
Remember, you need to be a 4 or higher. Georgia is very much on the host bubble, along with the likes of Florida, Maryland, Virginia Tech, North Carolina. What will those teams do down the stretch? How about LSU, Notre Dame, Oregon, and Texas? They are your 4 seeds right now. Texas, a big win over OU yesterday.
Well, the game coming up right after us is
big.
Notre Dame at Louisville. Coach Walls, will have his team ready to play. I think their balance is probably one of their best assets on the offensive end. And they're going to D up teams. At the beginning of the year, I was saying, Dana who? In reference to Dana Evans, who is a back-to-back ACC Player of the Year for Jeff Walls. And it's because it's a program. It's not a one-year team.
It's not it's not just the one.
Just show up. They're going to be
good
a
as she
number 1
was.
seed. I think he's had the ACC Player of the Year 4 of the last 5 years.
Yeah. And was it 5 of 6?
5 of 6, maybe. Yes.
4 straight ACC titles. They've got Notre Dame coming up next on ESPN. And then tomorrow night, Iowa and Maryland.
A really interesting matchup in the Louisville-Notre Dame game that I think probably wasn't something we looked at the beginning of the season is Maya Dotson for Notre Dame and Olivia Cochran for Louisville. Both of those players would be on my most improved post players in the country list. They both have done a magnificent job inside their own systems, being a factor. There's Q Morrison. What a take.
Coming through.
And hustles back down the other end to get in front of Destiny Henderson.
All right, now here's some of the late game slippage you're trying to fight against if you're South Carolina. They've missed 7 of their last 8 shots. And Georgia's still playing hard. Anderson checks the play clock, about an 11-second difference.
I mean, South Carolina had 51 points at the half. And they have 10 here in this 3rd quarter, so Georgia has done a better job defensively.
Outscoring them here in the 3rd. Buzzer beater coming. Off the mark from Henderson. 4th quarter coming up when we return. 61 before the postseason begins.
You like the reveals? You like having
I think they're good conversation starters, absolutely. I especially like that now we're putting them into their regions as well, so you can track where teams are going. May help the fans be able to, hey, maybe we'll pick up some tickets for that if we think we're going there.
Maybe.
Remember, geography is still plays a role in the women's game. Not where you're seated, but where you might be sent to play.
Good duck in.
Basket is good. Zoisha Smith. The other new development this year in the postseason, the women are adding the first 4, so there will be double headers that first Wednesday and Thursday night now, the women's tournament. And I believe at least 2 of those games will be at 1 seed, so it's possible that, say, a South Carolina, they may not know who their opponent is until that first 4 game is played. And that would be played in Columbia.
I'm always looking at how and why things happen inside our game. I would really love to consider a shuffle of the bottom of the format so that, those teams that are 16s and 15s actually have a chance to have a postseason experience of winning. We know they're going to have a great experience being in the tournament, but you know, only one time in the history of our game is a 16B-1, and that was extenuating circumstances a long time ago. That was Allison Feaster, the leading scorer in the country at Harvard, against a depleted Tara Vanderveer Stanford team. Actually, that experience still has altered the way Tara Vanderveer prepares for the NCAA tournament because she's fearful of injuries. Nobody likes to talk about that, but I would love to see, you know, a reshuffle at the bottom. Since we got 68, give those teams a chance to play their way in. Maybe take the bottom 8 teams and have a little play-in game to play the 1s and the 2s. No harm, no foul on that if you're going to go ahead and play some games earlier than the traditional 64.
I'd love to see them played on home floors too, so you get the NCAA tournament experience with your own fans in the gym.
I mean, we have enough trouble selling out 4 regionals. We're going to create another situation where we're going to have NCAA games played in the first 4, if you will, on a...
It's all good conversation to have because it's all for the betterment of the game and constantly improving and talking about different ways to do things.
We just don't have enough formats or platforms to have conversation about these things.
Off the crossover, Morrison. Leah Boston with the rebound. Now 1 shy of another double-double. She's got 16 in a row. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Wow, look at Saxton on the glass. I love that whole set.
3 repertoire.
Well, you know, you switch sides of the floor, you reverse the ball, you attack baseline, you throw it back up to the top. The defense is already sucked down to the level of the ball. Aaliyah Boston is wide open at the top. She missed the shot, but it was good execution in terms of rhythm and this kind of quality of shot you want to get.
She's got 11 triples on the year.
I mean, we were talking to Dawn Staley before the game about, you and I were on the call, the UConn game at South Carolina when Aaliyah Boston took her very first triple.
Was that last year? Two years
a couple of years ago. It's the first time South Carolina was able to beat, and Dawn Staley was able to beat Gina Oriana. I think that was in 8 tries, maybe, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was funny because we were having that same conversation on the way over to the gym this morning. And she's taking her game outside. How about this feat, by the way, for Dawn Staley? The first head coach to ever beat Gino, Tara, and Mulkey in the same season. Those 3 big wins for their resume. They're 5-0 against the top 10. They're 9-0. Going to be 10-0 against ranked opponents this year.
Yeah, no one has played the schedule that they have played. So when it comes to refining your play in March, they will have seen everything and they will be ready. And they will be really tough to knock out.
They have the most quality wins in the net as well. That was a nice hustle play right there by Zoisha Smith. And then Boston scores.
You still got to play underneath and protect inside out because they did start 4 for 4 from the 3-point line, but they're 0 for 8 from the 3-point line since the first quarter.
Oh, a Freddie Brown pass to Destiny Henderson, and 1. Just a little bit of confusion.
Nice reference of Freddie Brown, Georgetown,
to James
Worthy, North Carolina for the national championship game.
Google that one, kids.
There's no foul there, was there? Did she hit her after? I don't know.
Must have clipped her.
I thought she was trying to avoid it.
Good numbers for Destiny on 6 of 8 shooting from the floor today. I mean, if you, Debbie, if you have, and we've talked about it, if you have the perimeter players knocking down their shots, you know, with Boston doing what she does inside, that's ball game.
Well, and then there's Saxton, right? Yep. And then you can put Lily Grissett in there, and you're missing 2, Cardoso and Ami here, who are with their national teams trying to qualify through FIBA for the World Championships, right? So, I mean, it's a, you look down the bench and you got to earn playing time in practice. We know that Dawn Staley is going to want her team to earn playing time in practice. That's how you get on the floor.
Well, Georgia fans hoping all is okay here with Jenna Stady. Gets helped up, a hand slap from Zia Cook.
Well,
Tremendous respect for the games of both these sides.
Well, and remember, I mean, if you didn't tune in at the beginning, Jenna Stady picked up 2 quick fouls for Georgia before we got to 6 minutes in the first quarter. So she had to sit for a while, and South Carolina was on a run.
Well, and you want to keep her healthy too, because you've got 4 games left on the schedule. Missouri at Auburn at Arkansas, and then Texas A&M at home, where you may have to sweep that to be right there in position to get a 4 seed or higher. As you check it out, you can see them all on the SEC Network, ESPN Plus. Offensive foul there, and a charge taken by Zoisha Smith, who has shown up and shown out tonight, Debbie. Today, excuse me.
Yeah, they have moved her from the 4 to the 3 and added to her face-up game. Zoisha Smith, number 0 in white.
Aaliyah Boston has also checked out of the lineup. 16 points, 9 rebounds. Oh, Stady's right back in there and scoring.
Doesn't look like she feels too good on that ankle, though. You know, you mentioned Missouri coming in here next for Georgia. You know, Robin Pinchton is the only coach with a win over Dawn Staley this year. South Carolina losing on the road at Missouri. Now, you know the game plan is 10 feet in the paint when Robin Pinchton's team is playing South Carolina.
Yes. Saxton got it. Much love from the Lady Devils of Model High School in Rome, Georgia, who are in the house tonight, rooting on Victoria Saxton, one of their favorite grads.
I listened to Dawn Staley's postgame after the Kentucky game, talking about what a star Victoria is. As you take a look at the high school team,
they are.
There, the Lady Devils.
You know,
are up there.
here's a lesson for all. They reached out to us on social media, Debbie, and we saw it before the game on our Twitter, and we went up and said hello. Hey, you guys want to be on TV? Send us a little Twitter action pregame. We'll see what we can do. So, shout out to the Lady Devils of Model High School.
Clark has the ball in her hands all the time. 5 triple doubles, leads the nation in scoring and assists. And Aaliyah Boston is quite simply the most powerful low post person in our game. And she can dominate inside. She's got a high post game. And she has a lot of talent around her as well.
It's an argument since we first hung the peach baskets up. Who's the more important, the more valuable? Is it that guard that it has to initiate everything with the ball in their hands? Is it the big girl that everything has to go through or go above and beyond on the other end of the floor? It's great to be able to watch both do their thing. Here's Boston. Can she get another rebound, by the way, to add to that double-double total?
Well, right now, South Carolina's getting out-rebounded. That would be one thing that Dawn Staley will look on the box score and not like tomorrow.
There it is. And a 17th double-double in a row for Aaliyah Boston.
Actually, what am I talking about tomorrow? I'm talking about like in 15 minutes.
Yes. This game started out 6-6, and then Jenna Stady picked up her second quick foul. And South Carolina finished out the first quarter on a 23-4 run. It's been all Gamecocks since. And looking very much like the team to beat as the overall #1 seed right now. I don't foresee that changing. They have Auburn, Tennessee, A&M, and Ole Miss left in the regular season. Although not a lot of people saw them losing to Missouri either, and that happened. So it's been a wild season. A lot of upsets around. A lot of parity around. We'll see Auburn or South Carolina again on Thursday night on the SEC Network, taking on Auburn, and then Gary Blair's last go-round, his retirement season. Texas A&M taking on Ole Miss. There's another team that's much improved.
Oh, Yolette McEwen has done a fantastic job. They're They're ranked. They're in my poll.
Yeah.
I've had them in my poll since December. I think they're that good.
All right, you need to send a message to everyone else. They're not in the top 25 presently as Stady knocks it down from deep. How about the Terps tomorrow night against Iowa and Caitlin Clark?
Well, a healthy Diamond Miller changes things defensively for Brenda Fries, and Angel Reese has been playing like an All-American all season. She's a double-double on the inside. Ashley Owusu has been bothered by some ankle injury, and you know, but Katie Benson is capable of running the point. They got a lot of weapons too. They're a healthy team. When they're healthy, they're good.
And when folks check out on ESPN, coming up next, Louisville and Notre Dame.
Yeah, well, Jeff Wall's team is connected on the defensive end, right? They're going to make you work for everything offensively. Notre Dame likes to play in transition, and they're very good at skipping the ball in transition, but I don't think Jeff Wall's team is going to let them do much of that.
Good young talent with Miles and Citron for the Fighting Irish, and Neil Ivey trying to get that cranked up again.
What Jeff Walls does so well defensively is they don't let you reverse the ball. And if they can keep everything on the strong side, then they can really load up their defense. And they are really tough to score against when they do that.
Final 2 minutes here in Athens. Zia Cook got it. She joins Henderson and Boston in double digits now with 10 points, 5 assists.
Much better second half effort by Georgia. Joni Taylor, you know, got some pieces of film that they can look at, and I mean, you're measuring yourself up against the best this season, and you're going against South Carolina.
Well, you try and find any little thing, right? And we touched on it at the half. Right now, they are beating South Carolina on the scoreboard in the second half. But it's only a 4-point separation, so something to watch here in the last minute and a half for those interested. Zoisha Smith.
Oh, you know the South Carolina fans are watching till the very end. I mean,
I'm not saying it's a bad beat or anything. I'm just saying, hey, it's a little something.
Well, wish we had the opportunity to have a bad beat on any women's
Steve
game.
and Scott Van Pelt to
yes,
get in on some women's hoops bad beats.
1 minute remaining.
Final minute. Boston with another board and a timeout to get the subs into the game, as Aaliyah will finish the day, 18 points and 12 rebounds. Another terrific showing for her. And let's see, the block department, 2 blocks and 2 steals as well.
50% from the floor, made all her free throws. Dawn Staley got to utilize her bench, got some good quality reps. We're going to see Rivers here at the point. That's a big point guard. Like Teresa Edwards in the house, right? That was one of their original big point guards in women's basketball.
5-time Olympian. Oh, nice pick. Good job on that one from Hilton. Good anticipation. That's the word I was looking for. And that'll do it. 72-54, the final score. An impressive afternoon for top-ranked South Carolina. And a dominant showing. Stick around. We're going to see if we can get Aaliyah Boston on the microphone with us here post-game. And she gets the double-double.
Aaliyah Boston, a dominant performance on the glass once again. Does a great job on a 50-50 ball, getting position inside, uses her footwork to spin over that left shoulder, off the bounce, Dawn Staley can put her in space and she can make a play. And Destiny Henderson and